What's up, y'all? It's your favorite host, AybrielBTV, here with the one and only Idris French. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling on the up and up. I'm feeling amazing. Looking forward to preparing for this show that we about to do. But yeah, I'm feeling good.
Well, thank you for taking time out me before you hit the stage and just chat. You know, I'm ready to get into this interview.
Me too. I'm ready. I'm ready too. Looking forward to the questions you're gonna ask. Definitely gonna be organic,
Right.
you know, and vulnerable. But definitely looking forward to it.
Well, let's get into it. So you just dropped a new song, Highlights. Tell me what was the inspiration behind that song?
Yeah, the inspiration behind that song was well, I actually had the song for I had the beat for like three months before I had like the actual lyrics, and I came up with the idea what I wanted to do with the song. So sometimes you gotta sit with tracks before you like just say anything on it. So I sat with it, and so I had got a text from a fan or a DM, and like I say fan because we're not friends.
Right.
I mean, but we are.
Yeah, but to a certain extent.
Exactly. So yeah, so she had texted me and she was just like, "Yo, like, Ken, you got some new music?" I even put that in the song, cause like, Ken, you got some new music, and like I didn't have anything that I would just send anyone.
Right.
Like I had stuff, but I wouldn't just send it. Like, I had to be finished.
Right.
And so that gave me inspiration to write that track, which I wrote it. I came up with the lyrics in January. And like that song wasn't even gonna go on the project that I dropped, but like the response from it was so good, just like it had a good feeling, so I had to put it on there. And originally it was gonna be called 30 for 30, but Highlights just better fit.
Just listening to Highlights, I think that song, a lot of people always look at our lives and they're like, wow, I see the highs, but they don't know about the lows and things that we've been through. So what did you experience in your life that provoked that level of intimacy that you were able to share with your fans?
Well, so I grew up in a single parent home. Right. And like growing up with your mom just raising a boy, trying to raise him into a man, like I missed out on a lot of like how to fix a car, change oil. Like, I learned all that from my mom's. Well, I don't know about the change the oil part, but definitely how to change the tire though. And like I'm briefly like just like relationships I would get into, you know, they would question like my manhood basically, and that's what women's supposed to do. They supposed to challenge, you know, the man, like his masculine energy, if he got it or not. Right. But I knew like that I didn't have all the necessary, you know, tools, you know, to be a man just yet. But I wasn't far off. But yeah, I wasn't far off, but all in all, I had someone, like a lot of people tell me in the very beginning when I first started doing music, because I started like 12 years old, but like when the first song I made, like I let people hear, I recorded on my phone. Mm-hmm. It's a song called SOS, and it means same old, can I curse? Yeah. Yeah, it's same old shit. Right. So that was the first track that I wrote, and I knew it was like, all right, like I'm on to something. But more songs that I would write, people would judge. Like they would say, like, "Yo, it doesn't flow correctly," cause I just wrote how I think, and sometimes my thoughts be all over the place. Right. So it wasn't no real structure to it, you know. So people would tell me like, "Yo, be more vulnerable," and so I'm like, I wasn't at a place yet where I could be vulnerable though.
Right, cause you have to get to that place.
Exactly, right. And like I didn't even know I was dealing with depression, you know, while I was doing music and making my moves and everything like that. But they say it's like multiple forms of depression. So like I had found that out the hard way. But I accepted the challenge, and you know, it started to come out into my music when I got to that place of peace. 100%.
That's really deep. And I love how you were able to address that, because, you know, a lot of people, like you said, depression is something, it's a silent killer if you don't address it head on. And so just how would you deal with those critics, you know, when people would say, hey, like, I don't really like this, or like, how would you deal with that?
They don't like what? What they don't like?
Like when you said they don't they don't like this, you should flow more. Just critics, because you know critics are always gonna be critics. So how did you deal with that criticism?
Well, I was always a person that I wanted you to be real with me. Like I wanted you to tell me, like if my track was whack, I want you to tell me it's whack, because I'm gonna go and put in that work and I'm gonna try to get better. It's like I don't, somebody can't tell me like my stuff is whack and I get discouraged. Like nah, I'm not built like that. I'm a competitor. I love like the challenge. I try to surround people around me that's going to be real. That's going to tell me that something isn't good. Like, yo, something's off. Like, yo, I ain't like what you did right there. Like with everyday life. It's like, cause I want to be a better person, better man, better artist. And so that's how I respond to it. It's like, but like most recently, like the project I did, it was for me. I heard someone say a couple of days ago, like, yo, like, I'm working on my pandemic project, and like Don't Trip was my pandemic project. I didn't realize, right. But it was. And so it's like it's titled Don't Trip, inspired off of really Matt Miller. He used to say Don't Trip a lot, and you know he had like a hat that said Don't Trip on it. Right. But it was a message for me. It was a message for me. It's like with everything going on, the pandemic, everything I was dealing with. It's like, don't trip, everything's gonna be cool. So, yeah, that's how I respond to whoever don't like my stuff. Like,
right. I love how you're just so mellow. Like you're like, you know what? It is what it is. Like I'm gonna do me, and I really love that you have that about you. And so you started off when I was listening to your song. You started off when you were 15 years old, right? 15, give or take?
12, 15. Like I said both ages, but yeah.
Okay, look. See, I did my homework. All right. So just now, what would you tell your younger self? Like looking back from, you know, things that you've been through in life, trials, highs and lows, what would you tell your younger self now?
Believe it or not, I wouldn't tell me anything. Okay. Yeah, like I had to go through everything in order to get to where I'm at now. If I didn't go through any of that, like, who knows who I would be. Like if I would have moved back to Aliquippa with my grandma, like who know who I'd be. Like if I would have kept trying to play football, you know, just watch from afar. Like that's how I handle my mentees. Like anyone that want advice is like I don't have the answers. Like all I know is like it works for me. What works for me might not work for you, but you can take it in, like, but create your own perspective off of it. That would be my advice. So I wouldn't tell my younger self anything. It's like, if I had to, I don't even see, like, I was just on another level. I really was. So it's like, I wouldn't tell that man, I mean, that young boy. I wouldn't tell him anything, but.
That's a good answer, though. I don't think anybody has ever really said that. Like,
I feel like people want to try to control so much, and like what I've learned is like just accepting that you're not in control, just being still is like the best thing to do. Like if I didn't act on what is it, repulse or post? What is it? Repulse. Yeah, if I didn't act on repulse sometimes, like, or back in the day, who knows how things would have went with the girl or anything like that. So it's like I had to get to a level of where a space of peace, and that's it. Yeah.
And so you talked about the girl. So any relationships going on in your life? Like the ladies kind of really want to know. Like, what's up?
They want to know. Nah. Well, yeah. So the relationships is well.
Look like you get quiet.
Yeah. All right. So. This is just, you know, man to man being honest with a queen. It's like recently, I think like I got like my heart broke for the last time. So it's like now it's like anyone that I come across with, I learned to get rid of expectations. And you would think that's the way to live your life. Like that's the goal. That's the end game. That's where I got to get to. Right. But me, I look at it from a different angle. So I'm like, maybe I'm not meant to be with anyone. Maybe I'm not meant to, you know, have a baby, whatever. It's like that's not a bad thing. It's like it's just not my life, you know. So let me consent. I don't know though. I'm optimistic.
Maybe not in this season that you're in. Probably. You think so?
Well, maybe last year I would agree with you, but now at this time it's like when I gotta pick between like where I want to get to as far as like the man I want to be, and like yo, let me just be with somebody. I'm gonna pick the man I want to be because I feel like that has more of an impact on humanity than the person I'm gonna be with.
Right.
As bad as it sounds, but
At least you're being honest. So tell me what you do to prepare for your showcase. I know right now you're working on a big showcase. What are you doing to prepare, and how important is it for you to have a clear headspace?
it's very important. So to have a clear headspace. So the things I do is, I remember in the very beginning when I started out, I was just such a student of the game. I wanted to be a student of the game. So I would ask people that already performed. And like I was living in Orlando for a year, and that's when I first started. So I asked this one dude who was like so talented, and I hate that they don't do music anymore, or like they're not pursuing it. I don't know if they are, but but like he was like really talented. But I asked him because I seen like he would perform with a live band and this and that. It was like on YouTube, and I think he was from Memphis. And so I asked him, I was like, yo, like, what do you do when you up there? Like what works?
Right.
And like the advice he gave me, he's like, man, you just gotta figure it out. And it was like, you like sometimes it may work, sometimes it might not. So what I was doing was, I was in my room. I got footage of it. Like I would record myself on my Mac, and I would be looking in the mirror, like a tall standing mirror, whatever. Act like I got the mic in my hand. I rock the fit that I'ma wear, and like I'll be rehearsing my songs. Like I don't want to say non-stop, but for a good minute, and I go back watch the footage. I'm like, all right, I don't like that. I like this. I'm gonna try to do that. Like I mean, practicing stuff like like, yo, like, hey, girl, like, come up here on the stage, whatever. And I just pretend like I know what she going to do. But from that to on the way to work, I be rehearsing in the car, just had the beat playing because the way I perform, it was another challenge. I wanted to perform, excuse me, I wanted to perform with no vocals. And so, like, it's tough to, like, know all your lyrics, especially when you write so many songs.
Right.
And so it's a challenge I accept. And like sometimes I'll be up on stage, I forget my lyrics, but you won't be able to tell until I tell you, cause like I just have a marriage with the beat. Like I know when to come in, you know what I mean? So that's what I do to prepare. I mean, let me think of something else I do. I love to go outside. I love to go outside, go on nature walks, like by myself, and like just get lost sometimes. Sometimes, yeah, I would get lost on purpose. But that's my process.
That's a good process. Sometimes you have to fund your own dreams until you can, until you get to where you need to be. So talk about how you are doing that. How are you funding your own dreams? Are you working a full-time job? Like, what are you doing right now to make sure that you're reaching your end goal?
Yes, currently I'm working a full-time job, along with a couple other jobs just to get some revenue. And yeah, it's tough being an independent artist and like not being a flashy independent artist.
Right.
But like it's moments like those, like literally yesterday I was discouraged just because it's like I had just got done working, and then I had to get to an interview in an hour for another side job, and then after that I had picked up a shift or a block. I forgot I did like last weekend. I was like, oh yeah, I go work that night, and like all I wanted to do was go home and like sleep because I had just like performed like the night before, and like it was like a long day because I had work, had to get ready, go right to the the show because I like to be punctual as best as I can, But yeah, I was discouraged because everything bad happened that day driving. Oh damn, I said driving. But not literally everything bad happened. Like people was late bringing stuff out, and like they had me driving from, what is it? Not Lovejoy, Fayetteville, or Fairburn. From Fairburn to Decatur, back to Fairburn. And I had to drive back to Tucker. So it was like I had to be on time for work the next day. And it's like, shoot, right now, I had to come right here to rehearse. And it's like, man. But I tell people all the time, like, yo, I lose sleep over this. It's like music is always the top priority. I said that for 6 years. Like, all I care about is the music. And so dedication definitely on another level. But like I wanna be a example for people like that want to do the right thing. It's like, cause I do the right thing. You know, I don't do anything illegal that I know of. Right. But you know, like somebody has to right the wrongs, and so the wrongs is like not something that I would speak on right now, but just in that sense, just being a positive person. Right. Like, it's tough to be a positive person. Like, I get challenged all the time, but I love it. You got to accept the challenge.
And I mean, I feel like if you aren't busting your butt to do, you know, and chase your dream, I mean, what are you really doing? Because at the end game, everything that we're doing is for our dream. So
100%.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. Of course, I got to let you get ready for the showcase, but let the people know where they can find you at on social media.
You can find me at The Real Idris French on Instagram, just like Idris Elba, but I'm Idris French. It's spelled the same way. And then on Twitter, Real Idris French. YouTube, subscribe to AybrielBTV. And then, of course, you know, I don't know my YouTube now I think about it, but you can just find me on social media, and you can get there like if you want to get lost in what they call the rabbit hole, the tunnel, or something like that.
Yeah, like the rabbit hole.
Yeah. I'm trying to build that up for y'all, but definitely tap in with me. Nah, I don't like that. Don't tap in with me. Just check me out. You know what I mean? Check me out.
And make sure you guys watch a full interview on AybrielBTV.com and on YouTube, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
I love you, Ma. Yo, I love you, Ma. I love you. That's all I want to say. Peace, Queen.